Hello everyone, this is Door to Darkness, and today we've got quite a big amount of Kingdom Hearts sort of information that's been given to us directly from Tetsuya Nomura himself in an interview he gave with Famitsu, after the announcement of Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue last week at TGS. So, the interviews that I've got are from KH Insider, who, thanks to Zephyr, who, I imagine people know him, he usually tends to translate interviews, and he was also responsible for some of the artwork from the secret Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer shown at the 2.5 launch event last December. So this is kind of split into 4 parts, so I'm just going to go through each of them. It's one single interview, but they released it in 4 parts based on the different parts of the interview that Nomura talked about. So first of all, was the goal for 2.8 always to be on PS4? And Nomura says it was originally planned because we didn't want you to wait for Kingdom Hearts 3 while playing nothing. Because we wanted you to experience the world of Kingdom Hearts 3 as soon as possible, with Dream Drop Distance being the preface of Kingdom Hearts 3, we wanted to include works that used technology from Kingdom Hearts 3, so the PS4 was inevitable. So basically, if it was going to be a PS3 like the other HD remixes, they couldn't have used the technology from Kingdom Hearts 3, as they're doing in Birth by Sleep 0.2, and key back cover. Then they ask the current development situation, and Nomura says, "At the moment I can't clearly announce how much time is left because it's also developed simultaneously with Kingdom Hearts 3. There are portions that use the same technology and I can't discuss about it at this time." Then they ask if there are any additional elements, and Nomura says it's become 3 works that are in HD. Because Dream Drop Distance had 2 screens, it was remaked in a way that it uses 1 screen. The other 2 works don't contain that many elements in terms of additional elements because they're new works that use Kingdom Hearts 3's technology. And then they ask about 0.2, and Nomura says it contains a story of Aqua traveling in the realm of darkness. It begins immediately after the secret episode of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix. We plan to include elements that are part of Kingdom Hearts 3. The volume is a short episode that is about as worth as one world from the Kingdom Hearts series. So essentially, Birth by Sleep, or 0.2, is not going to be a huge game. It's just going to be, maybe an hour or 2, about the length of a world that you visit in the Kingdom Hearts series. As for what that world is, I imagine it could be a dark version of the Castle of Dreams, as well as, the generic kind of Realm of Darkness stuff that we see. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. It's not all that long, but then I wasn't expecting it to be all that long, so, anything new is good, even if it is just an hour or 2. So yeah, onto the second part of the interview. They ask about the title, and Nomura says, "The title contains a little bit of meaning. First, we consider the types of games that are being included, such as Dream Drop Distance, and with the previous work being 2.5, it would be positioned as 2.6, corresponding to the works. And then there's Key, which is basically Kingdom Hearts 0, because Sora isn't there, essentially, is what he says. And then Birth by Sleep is 0.1, and then 0.2 is obviously 0.2. So 2.6 plus 0 plus 0.2 is 2.8. And yeah, apparently we need a maths degree to actually be able to understand the titles of the Kingdom Hearts series, so that's nice. Thanks, Nomura. I mean, Kingdom Hearts games, they tend to have weird titles like 358 Days Over 2. It's just what happens. It's just what Nomura likes doing, so let's just kind of accept that. They ask about numberings along the timeline that have been brought together, so you kind of adding the titles together brings together these sort of decimal numbers. Then Nomura says, in the secret episode of Birth by Sleep Final Mix, it was displayed 0.5. After that, it would be a full volume sequel to Birth by Sleep, with at that stage Birth by Sleep being Kingdom Hearts 0. But because Kingdom Hearts 3 is the priority, they didn't have time to make a 0.5, so they've made 0.2, which, is a much shorter volume than Birth by Sleep Volume 2 would have been. So is it possible that Kingdom Hearts 2.9 might be released? Then they ask, and Nomura says the next one is Kingdom Hearts 3. And then he laughs, apparently. There's a subtitle in 2.8 that has Final Chapter. Because of its prologue implications, Kingdom Hearts 3 would be the final chapter of the Dark Seeker series. With the meaning of 0.1 left, you will understand it in Kingdom Hearts 3. So that pretty much means to me, because rightly or wrongly, Nomura did commit to this Game a Year thing, starting from Days back in 2009. This year we get Unchained Key, Next year, 2016, we get 2.8, and in 2017 we get Kingdom Hearts 3. That seems to pretty much be at least what they're aiming for. If the next game after 2.8 is Kingdom Hearts 3, pretty much Kingdom Hearts 3 is releasing in 2017, it seems from this, or that's the plan. Of course, it is always possible that it might be delayed, or, well, not delayed, but it might release in 2018, but yeah, we'll see. It does seem more likely that Kingdom Hearts 3 will release in 2017 and not 2018 or 19 or whatever. Then they asked, 0.1 is worrisome. With 2.8 only being on PS4, 1.5 and 2.5 was released on the PS3. Was it difficult to transition? Nomura said because of the gameplay of 0.2, it uses Kingdom Hearts 3's tech and will only work on the PS4. Since the current development situation has become one for the PS4, it would be difficult to make it for the PS3. In addition, for the players, we wanted to show the atmosphere of Kingdom Hearts 3 even just a little. For 0.2, it's not exactly the same, but incorporates some of the system from Kingdom Hearts 3. So, it's a bit of a stretch to say that 0.2 is almost like a Kingdom Hearts 3 demo. I don't think it is quite that, but it's sort of showing a little bit of the elements that are going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3, if that makes any sense. And then he's just going on again why, it's pretty obvious why 2.8 can't be on last generation consoles. So then on to the next part of the interview. They asked, for 0.2's system, will it be different or the same as Birth by Sleep? And Nomura says for Birth by Sleep 0.2, they're taking into account elements from Birth by Sleep and Kingdom Hearts 3, so it becomes a hybrid. So they'll use elements from Birth by Sleep and they'll use elements from Kingdom Hearts 3, put those together, I'm sounding like Roy Conley now, and they'll make what 0.2 is, which is something with some of the feel from Kingdom Hearts 3, some of the feel from Birth by Sleep. I'm guessing because, Aqua's obviously going to control differently to Sora. They might make her, more like Aqua, so that's more like Birth by Sleep, while, using some of the features of Kingdom Hearts 3, such as maybe attraction flow, like that leak suggested. With the additional lending hand up there, should we be worried if it has any effect on the process of Kingdom Hearts 3? Nomura says, for Kingdom Hearts 3, realize that the numbering seems to affect the quality and volume, but over time, since it's not produced in a range of influence, there are no problems concerning that. However, I felt that I wanted you to experience something early and that you would be able to experience soon, even for a little bit, through 0.2's game system experience and how it connects to Kingdom Hearts 3. So I think he's basically saying this isn't going to make Kingdom Hearts 3 take much longer. They're just going to kind of do this while they're doing Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's not going to take up all that much time. Kingdom Hearts 3 is still the priority. This isn't going to mean that it's going to release like in 10 years or anything. Then they ask about Dream Drop Distance and how it's become playable, because they thought that since it uses two screens, it might have to become like cutscenes, and then they ask him how that's been done. Nomura said the staff that worked on 1.5 and 2.5 made him realize this opportunity. In this time, in addition to the HD, it used to be a system where it uses the lower screen of the Nintendo 3DS, and we've changed the game design so it can be on a single screen. Like HD remasters works previously, it can be said the colors are vibrant in the remake. Then they ask, are there any additional elements? And Nomura says, as far as the story goes, there are no large additional elements because it exceeds the work for HD remastering. But just like the elements of the collections that were in HD, it has trophy support and so forth, because 3D has a story that's very complex, and it being before Kingdom Hearts 3, we wanted you to play Dream Drop Distance. So essentially, they pretty much just reworking it so it works on PS4. They're not adding loads of stuff in or anything. So I will ask about 0.2. Where does it begin in the timeline in regards to the secret episode of Birth by Sleep Final Mix? Nomura basically says it will start immediately after the secret episode, so not long after Aqua is in the Realm of Darkness, when she finds Cinderella's castle, or the Castle of Dreams. It will start there. And then they ask if the Cinderella's castle will be playable, and Nomura says, I guess so, and then laughs. However, it being the case of the secret episode, you won't wander the world endlessly in darkness. So it means, the secret episode, the Realm of Darkness was pretty much just that. It was just darkness. But now there's going to be a bit more to it, so I imagine, actually going and exploring a dark version of the Castle of Dreams. for example. Then they say in the secret episode they saw a fragmentary passage, and that has become the subtitle for 0.2, so could you explain that? Nomura says, although there is a story that exists for this, there are no plans to release it as a package that was shown in Birth by Sleep Final Mix's A Fragmentary Passage. However, since it exists as a setting, I had touched a little in planning the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3, and I thought it would be a good opportunity. However, it's not affecting the progress of Kingdom Hearts 3, and because 0.5 is not a full volume, it would be 0.2. Because it is a fragmentary passage was left as a subtitle. So yeah, that's just sort of repeating what we've heard before, that it's not going to be as big as Volume 2 was going to be. This is just a sort of partial title. And then they asked, during this period, how far would it elaborate on? And Nomura said that he can't say because it would lead to a punchline, so I guess explaining like how far Aqua goes or whatever is going to spoil Birth by Sleep 0.2. When introduced, while Sora embarks on a new journey, it talks about the episode where the king was hiding until the present. It will take place in the form of 0.2, and it is a portion that is closely related to Kingdom Hearts 3. So yeah, again, pretty similar stuff to what we've heard before. 0.2 is obviously linked to Kingdom Hearts 3, and it also talks that Mickey is going to have a role in it, as we saw from the sort of summary that Square released last week, that it's going to be about his big secret. So then on to the fourth and final part of the interview. The king also holds the key. Following Kingdom Hearts Key back cover, the service for Unchained Key recently begun, and is it possible you can talk a little bit about the situation? And then Nomura said that he apologizes for the server difficulties that were there when the service began. Up to this point, they asked to cooperate in departments that have a Lighthouse server management, and they're continuing to improve it. First, they're working on server stability, eventually corresponding to other parts of the inconvenience. Gradually, there will be events and the like that will appear. And then they say that it's running smoothly recently, so yeah, they're talking about Unchained Key now, and they're saying that it's quite addicting, as it seems like a lot of people have said who have gone out and bought the Japanese version or downloaded it. Nomura said that smartphones are kept close in our lives, so it's good that they can enjoy the feeling of Kingdom Hearts through that medium, even if just for a little bit. And then he said they're going to continue announcing or adding 50 quests every month until January. Because of the continuing updates, he hopes that people will enjoy it. So then they ask about back cover, and is it drawn from the perspective of the 5 foretellers? Nomura says, I suppose yes, but there's also the foretellers leader, the Master of Masters. The person Kirithi talks about, there's this individual being referred to as his master. And then he said that the Master of Masters is regarded differently and isn't what people normally call a master. Because it's being referred to as a Master of Masters, it indicates the person's standing position. The foretellers themselves are Keyblade Masters. Their teacher, however, is the Master of Masters. So yeah, this person is sort of the top dog. And then he says that in back cover there's quite a turn of events for the foretellers. There was also the black coated person in Kingdom Hearts Key. And then they ask if the 5 foretellers were the ones speaking. And then Nomura says Key and Unchained Key proceeds in the player's point of view, and there are the foretellers that we don't know very much about. In back cover, which had recently shown a little in the trailer, you can draw on the differences of their personality and speculation between each of them. Maybe then we can glimpse the nature that belongs to each of the unions and question, why were they thinking about that? And maybe this is where their interests become divided. And then given that all of this is essentially there to build up to Kingdom Hearts 3, they ask about Big Hero 6 and how the response to that. And Nomura said, because they finally decided on most of the worlds, he's happy the fact that Big Hero 6 is available. It takes place in the near future with modern cityscapes, so it will be a fun world for action, and they were decisive in choosing it. But then they just go over the story that's already been announced for the world. Baymax and Sora confront the other Baymax the Heartless have taken over. Nomura says that's right, it takes place after the movie version. Taiyasui was eager in saying, I really want to do it, and because he also likes this title, he wants people to enjoy it when they're finished. They ask about the full remake of Final Fantasy VII, and they wanted to know where they're going as far as that, and Nomura said that they're continuing to polish the strategy and feel of battles while being faithful to the original. Although it's pretty far for them to show something, they'll do a follow-up in winter. I'm assuming that by winter he means the PlayStation Experience event on the 6th of December. because that just seems to make sense, or to be a good place to, you know, show Final Fantasy VII, when he said before that this is going to really help to push the PS4 sales and so on. And then they sort of say about how he's doing both Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy VII at the same time. Nomura says, in addition to those, there's also the arcade version of Dissidia Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts 2.8, and World of Final Fantasy that he's involved in, as well as continuing to improve Kingdom Hearts Key and Unchained Key. So he said they're getting help from external sources, but he's got his hands full, but he really wants to stay committed to doing these to please the fans. So yeah, a lot of information from Nomura regarding Kingdom Hearts 2.8, a little bit about Kingdom Hearts 3, and even a tiny bit about Final Fantasy VII. So yeah, what are your thoughts on everything that Nomura has said in this interview? Please tell me your thoughts in the comment section below the video, and while you're down there, please like this video if you did, and if you liked it, then check out my other videos and subscribe to this channel. And as always, thank you for watching.